It's Friday the 4th of September 2015 and I'm in Chipping Ongar to do a walk along the St Peter's Way long distance footpath, and today I've got somebody with me for company, which makes a pleasant change. The walk turns right up there to the church. A few yards past the last clip, the walk passes St Martin's Church, Chipping Ongar. Now heading along the first footpath of St Peter's Way. Decent views opening up to my right. This part of St Peter's Way coincides with the Essex Way, of which there are videos posted.
Morning.
Morning. A diversion off the St Peter's Way to have a look at part of Ongar Castle. This looks like the outer moat. The St Peter's Way now crosses the river Roding by this bridge. And there is confirmation that we're on St Peter's Way.
St Peter's, that's St Peter's, yeah.
Heading towards High Ongar. The St Peter's Way comes to this road where it turns right for about 50 yards and then goes left. After the road, St Peter's Way heads up this footpath. Now heading across this field on an unmarked or undefined path. Decent views ahead and to my left. Weather's a bit overcast and showers are forecast. Confirmation that we are on St Peter's Way, which turns left at this point. Along there. Completely undefined. A pleasant line of trees over to my left. And that's the way ahead of St Peter's Way. Now heading along the edge of this field, still on the St Peter's Way. Now heading along this wooded track. Still heading along the clear wooded track. The walk comes to this fairly pleasant spot on this road. Now heading towards Blackmore on St Peter's Way. Wide Essex landscapes around. And there's the path ahead. Clear for once. Still heading towards Blackmore on St Peter's Way. Now at Blackmore Church. Very pleasant, very peaceful. The view inside Blackmore Church.
This was added on. This is still the actual part on the plan. Costly to get it repaired.
Inside the tower of Blackmore Church.
That's beautiful. Oh, thank you for showing us like this. This is spectacular.
It's lovely, yes, we love it.
Yes, I mean, you can just smell the wood, can't you?
Well, the girls have
Or is that
the same
furniture?
girls.
Now in the centre of Blackmore village, and the St Peter's Way turns right up there. Now passing the War Memorial in Blackmore. And now passing the stocks on the green at Blackmore. And there's the village sign for Blackmore. Very beautiful village. The walk leaves Blackmore along this clear path, still on St Peter's Way. Now heading along the edge of this field. St Peter's Way turns left at this point along that clear track ahead. St Peter's Way now passes this very pleasant duck pond. St Peter's Way turns right along this clear track. Since leaving Blackmore, the paths have been clearer so far. Still heading along the clear track, decent view, pleasant trees.
So that's all right.
Further on the path becomes metalled and there are ponds to the right. St Peter's Way now heads across this field on this enclosed path. St Peter's Way now heads up Maple Tree Lane. Very pleasant. Still heading along St Peter's Way along Maple Tree Lane.
We hope.
St Peter's Way comes to this road where it turns right. Now passing the Cricketers Inn, Mill Green. Now heading along this narrow path. St Peter's Way waymarks seem to have disappeared in this area. The path follows the edge of this field and bears right, and there's a decent view down the field. Still on St Peter's Way. Now heading along the right hand edge of this field. We've turned left from the field in the previous clip.
Can't see any box growing.
Now heading through Boxwood on St Peter's Way. Shortly emerging from the wood. This has been quite a pleasant woodland walk. Great views ahead on emerging from the wood. Now approaching Wellwood. Now heading along St Peter's Way beside Wellwood.
Handley Barnes here.
Now heading along the edge of this field. Some pleasant horses. And now we go along this lane along St Peter's Way. St Peter's Way bears left off the lane across this stile. This is fairly easily missed. From the last clip, immediately over that stile, the St Peter's Way turns right to go along the edge of fields, and this is the second field it goes along the edge of. We're approaching the main A12 now.
Yeah.
Now going through Bushy Wood on St Peter's Way. The walkers pass this pretty impressive fungus. St Peter's Way now heads along the edge of this field. Path is reasonably clear at this point. Reasonable view up there. Nice trees. St Peter's Way now goes under the main A12 road. On the other side of the A12, St Peter's Way goes along this narrow path. St Peter's Way now comes to the old A12 road and it turns left down there. Now at the bus stop on the old A12 where St Peter's Way joins it, and now the end of today's 10.5 mile walk along St Peter's Way.